Dear viewers, welcome to the show. I'm Bhavana Casey. On today's show, we have a very special guest. Indeed, we take a delight and pride to introduce you to our today's guest, Jessica Cox. Cox was born differently abled, but that has not stopped her from being specially abled and moreover uniquely abled. She is a Guinness World Record holder, world's first licensed armless pilot, a black belt in the Taekwondo, motivational speaker, disability advocate, scuba diver, blogger, and many more. Indeed, we take a delight in welcoming our today's guest, Jessica Cox. Jessica, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Jessica, before proceeding with today's conversation, let's have a video that has a glimpse of your life and the activities that you have done so far.
Jessica on her solo flight.
I remember that as a child, I always wanted to fly like Superwoman because I was so angry about how limited I was. I can't believe I did that. Did I scare you? You envision your child to be perfect. 10 fingers, 10 toes. My mom didn't know what kind of life could I lead. I didn't know why God created me this way.
Internally, I was going through this challenge, this struggle. I was so self-conscious about what people thought about me.
Everyone had something I didn't have, and I was different, and I knew that people reacted to me different. I remember seeing a TV piece about a woman, Barbara Guerra, and she was a young mom. And I went over to her house, and after that, I was a different person. It was almost like an awakening. It's really incredible how one person can be that difference.
My friend just found out last week that she's 21 weeks along from the boy who doesn't have arms.
I would love to meet with her and just tell her that he's going to be just fine. I know children all over the country who are born without arms.
Our next guest is living proof that you can accomplish anything. Please welcome Jessica Cox.
Her name landed in the Guinness World Record, first woman to fly a plane without arms.
President Obama met with Jessica Cox at the White House.
Not dependence, but independence.
The person who arrived this week is
Jessica,
now 25-year-old Jessica Cox.
We kind of relate because we both kind of have a hard life because I can't hear. I felt like I wasn't the only one.
You aren't, for sure.
When was the last time you said, I can't? And guess what are the 2 words that I've eliminated from my vocabulary? I can't. My parents, they taught me to be confident about who I am. Each of you have something in you that will allow you to push through the most difficult times.
Well, that was an insight into your life and the success you have moreover achieved. Jessica, you were differently abled, but really it's very incredible you are a success on your own. Indeed, breaking all the barriers, you have achieved more. How does it feel? Because indeed for you, the world is at your feet.
I feel very grateful because I was given all the support you can imagine. I had wonderful parents who believed in me. I had a community, I had faith. And the support and opportunity I was given to show the world that just because I don't have arms, just because I have a disability, doesn't mean that I can't achieve great things.
Indeed, the world is at your feet. That was what you also have mentioned in your blog, since you are a blog writer as well.
Yes.
And you are in Nepal. Actually, what has brought you to Nepal?
Well, USAID Stride Project, they have supported. I'm a Goodwill ambassador for Handicap International,
Okay.
and I'm here to witness some of the work that Handicap International is doing. They're actually a social organization that helps with rehabilitation for people with disabilities and to provide many services for people with disabilities.
So you are associated with the Handicap International, and you are Goodwill Ambassador of the Handicap International.
Yes.
That is a non-profit social organization.
Yes.
So what have you found, how good have you felt being associated with such organization since you are a disability advocate yourself?
I have been privileged to be able to see some of the work they've been doing. So many of the stories, even in our trip so far, we've met so many children and many adults who have disabilities, and their lives have been transformed by the opportunities they're given.
And I met with one of the boys, Sendesh, who lost his legs
Okay.
due to an earthquake, and he has prosthetics now. And he
Okay.
says that he now has a new life, a new opportunity, and it's wonderful to hear stories like that. And a woman who is given an opportunity to work, and the work has boosted her confidence, so much so that she worked and now was able to buy her own motorcycle, and is able to ride a motorcycle with a disability. It's
Okay,
amazing.
that was very great indeed.
Yes.
So you have been associated with that organization, and since your collaboration with that organization, you are here in Nepal. So you met the people with disability here in Nepal as well.
Yes.
So what do you find the kind of life the people with the disabilities have in countries like Nepal, since it is a developing nation? And since you are born in the United States of America, that's a developed nation, what kind of difference that you felt in having a life, in pursuing a life, or the objectives or the goals of life in a developed country and in a developing nation?
Well, what I have found is many of the disabled person organizations, they are vibrant communities.
Okay.
People with disabilities who want to help with changing the lives of people with disabilities around the world and in their country especially, to provide them with opportunities with education, opportunities to work because they love to work, they're loyal workers, and they are just passionate about advocating and to change the lives of people with disabilities.
Okay, we'll be talking more about this on the later part of our conversation as well. Indeed, we'd love to hear regarding your personal achievements. You are world's first armless pilot. What made you to take up or being a pilot?
My greatest fear was flying in an airplane.
Okay.
And I've always said, never let fear stand in the way of any opportunity for
Okay.
anyone. And for all who are watching, it's important that we not let our fear stand in the way. And I decided to pursue becoming a pilot because it was my fear to go up in the sky and lose
Okay.
contact with the ground.
So that made you to be a pilot. How hard was it to achieve that success, because you had to go through the rigorous training as well as the very procedures you had to follow?
It was a long journey. It
Okay.
took 3 different flight instructors because it was a difficult process. It took 3 different airplanes and flight training in numerous states in the United States,
Okay.
numerous hours to become a certified pilot.
How long it took you to be a certified pilot then?
It took approximately 3 years.
3 years.
Yes.
And after 3 years, you were a certified pilot.
It was a great feeling to earn the certification, be able to fly solo, and that was the greatest feeling of independence, empowerment, and freedom.
Indeed, that made you a Guinness World Record holder as well.
Yes, I earned the Guinness World Record as the first person to fly an airplane with her feet.
Indeed, that's really great. And we had learned that you left using the prosthetics. You also, a bit earlier, you said there was a local boy named Shandesh who started using prosthetics, and he was really happy to use the prosthetics since he lost his arms in the earthquake.
His legs. He lost
Sorry,
both of
his
his
legs
legs.
in the earthquakes, and he started using the prosthetics.
Yes.
But you left using the prosthetics at
Yes.
the age of your 14. How hard was taking that decision, or how easy was that, and the life afterwards?
Well, Sendesh, who lost his legs due to the earthquake, he was born with his legs and
Okay.
feet. And it's always different to be born in a certain condition. For me, because I was born this way, it was more natural for me to use my feet and my legs.
Okay.
And so I had the option of using prosthetics. I wore them for 11 years, which is wonderful
Okay.
to have the option. But for me, I chose to use my feet because it was easier. I was faster and I was better with my feet. But leaving them behind meant that I would be an object of ridicule, someone who could be made fun of because I was different. But it was more important to be confident in who I am, and I felt like it was one of the best decisions of my life to leave them behind and finally move forward with my life with what I've been given.
And it really sounds, talking to you now and looking at what you have achieved, say you had taken a really great and wise decision. It really feels that way as well. And since you are a black belt on Taekwondo, how was that possible?
Well, Taekwondo was a wonderful way for me to channel my anger and frustration. As a child,
Okay.
it was hard to be different, and dealing with my disability was difficult. So my mother enrolled me in Taekwondo,
Okay.
and I earned my first black belt at the age of 14.
Okay.
And now I still continue to practice Taekwondo. I'm a 3rd degree black belt.
You just shared that you had kind of a difficulty in accepting what you are when you were a child.
Yes.
So it was just your internal feeling, or the kind of situation that gave you such feeling was due to the outer circumstances as well?
Yes, absolutely. For me, it's for anyone who's different.
Okay.
It is hard when society around you is not always accepting.
Okay.
And it's hard to be different. It's hard to have discrimination. It's hard to be pointed out or made fun of and not be included.
Okay.
And that was even more difficult than the disability itself.
That was more painful, actually.
It's more painful, yes.
So what kind of friends you had then back at school?
I was fortunate to have great friends because I can think of times when there were bullies, the older students who would make fun of me.
Okay.
And there were times though when my friends, they stuck up for me and they said, oh, don't listen to him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Okay.
And just to have a friend there to support you makes a huge difference.
Indeed it makes, and you had such a loving and caring family as well that help you in achieving the success you have today.
Yes.
So what are friends, do you still have connection with your school friends, the kind of friends that always motivated you in achieving the best and success?
Yes, I have been so fortunate to be around friends and a tremendous family. My mom said you can do anything, and my dad has never once shed a tear about my birth condition. So he never saw me as a victim, and therefore I couldn't see myself as a victim.
So you have other siblings as well?
And I have an older brother and a
Okay.
younger sister. They were born able-bodied with
Okay.
their arms, but they were wonderful siblings. They helped support me as well, and we're still very close as adults.
Though born you're differently abled, you are able to do other things as well, like drive an unmodified car with unrestricted license, like typing the keyboard at 25 words per minute, pump your own gas, and to remove your contact lenses as well. How you learned all these kind of things? Because even these kind of things, the people who is born abled, this kind of thing sounds not so easy for the people who are born abled. But how made you possible?
Well, I didn't give up, and persistence helped me through any challenge I was faced with. And the truth is, for anyone, if you just keep going and keep moving forward and you just don't ever give up, it makes it easier to accomplish. But you have to stop saying the words, I can't.
I can't. Actually, you are a motivational speaker, and that is the term you use while you deliver the motivational speeches.
Yes.
So how, when you took this thing as well, that yes, I should be a motivational speaker as well, or when you started giving the motivational classes, motivational speaking classes actually?
Well, I had no idea I wanted to become a speaker. In fact, it was also another fear to go in front of a large group of people.
You had a kind of mass phobia.
Yes, yes, speaking in front of a large audience, and now I've
Okay.
spoken in over 20 countries, and our audience is the size of 5,000 people. But when I was younger, it was hard because I didn't want anyone to stare at me. The opportunity to share my life to some young students inspired them, and it gave me this idea that I could become a speaker. I could share my story if I've been so lucky and fortunate to be given every opportunity and achieve great things, and I could show the rest of the world that disability doesn't mean inability.
Yes, exactly. Now you love all the attention you get.
I use it to help become a voice for people with disabilities all over the world.
So what actually is the message or what you deliver when you give the motivational speaking classes?
When I speak to audiences, I talk about desire,
Okay.
I talk about persistence and being fearless. Desire is critical because if you don't want to do something, then you'll find every excuse to not do it. And if you have that drive, then you will finish to the end.
And actually that drives you to the success.
Yes.
You are a certified scuba diver as well. Your love for the aquatic activities is as vibrant, as visible that your love for the air. You are the armless pilot, and
Yes.
also you are a certified scuba diver as well.
Someone told me that becoming a scuba diver is like flying underwater.
Wow.
And as a pilot, naturally I wanted to experience what it's like to fly underwater, and scuba diving is like that. You feel weightless, you feel free, and I earned my certification as a scuba diver, and I've done some dives in areas of the world. It's been wonderful.
This was followed by, you got the license to pilot at first, then it was followed by the scuba diving license, or what else?
Yes, I earned a pilot certificate first, and then
Okay.
became a scuba diver, and also learned how to surf on a surfboard.
Oh, actually, you are a surfer as well. So you manage all these things, and indeed it's really such an inspiration to listen to you from this thing and know that despite being born with a disability, you have broken all the barriers.
It's so true for anyone with a disability. If they have the opportunity, if they have the support, they can accomplish great things. It's not just about my story, but it's the story of the potential of anyone with a disability.
So documentary has been produced based on her life as well. The documentary was titled Right Footed.
Yes.
And it was the award-winning documentary that was screened in more than 80 countries. Yes. So can you share more about the documentary, how it was made, how the idea came, and how you finalized the whole thing?
Well, the documentary director, Nicholas Spark, came to me right around the time I was about to get married. And he wanted to capture the story of my marriage with my husband, Patrick. And so he asked if he could be a part of that. And he brought his cameras, he captured the story, he captured the message that love sees no boundaries. And he also decided to follow us around to Ethiopia, to the Philippines, to the work that helped with advocating for people with disabilities.
You have made trips to Ethiopia and Philippines as well.
Yes.
What is actually the life of people with disability there in Ethiopia and the Philippines?
Life for people with disabilities in Ethiopia and the Philippines is similar in different developing nations. And there is such a strong voice, a vibrant community of people with disabilities. They want to make a change for the conditions of people who are born with a disability so that they can ensure them opportunities. Because as I mentioned before, they love to work. They're wonderful employees. They want an education.
Okay.
They want to be a part of society and included.
Since you said that they want to be involved in the change-making process.
Yes.
But people with disability, very largely, it seems the society, especially in the developing nations, have neglected them. And neither they are provided with the proper opportunities to attain education or the employment. So you are also associated with the organization that provides to facilitate the lives of those people.
Yes.
So how have you been working? How nearly have you observed them?
Well, when we were in Ethiopia, we were watching the powerful, tremendous effect that having education can have. How can it change someone's life? And we were able to witness some of the children who were able to be included in school because of the different programs to help, say, for example, students who are hearing impaired, to be able to give them an interpreter so that they could be included. And it's incredible to be able to see that if it starts at a very young age, when they're included in education, they become very successful adults. And they're able to participate and have jobs. And that was wonderful to be able to see that.
So any success stories that you'd like to share us from your trip to these countries?
I have to share with you my favorite story about Susila, who is now my sister, I think, because she was born here in Nepal.
Okay.
She is only 1 year older than me, but she was also born without both of her arms.
Okay.
So she, like me, learned to use her feet. And she now has a government job. She had a wonderful education, a master's degree.
Okay.
So she was supported, and she even went to a boarding school. So she was able to take care of her own needs and be independent. And now, married after 3 years, I met her husband.
Okay.
So now I have a friend that I will always have here in Nepal and will stay in touch with her. But hearing her story really shows that if you have the support, that you can, even in Nepal, be successful. And she is a wonderful example of that. And to meet her was one of the highlights of my stay here in Nepal.
Exactly. That was the success story of a Nepali girl.
Yes.
So any success stories that you have during while you made the beneficiaries in Ethiopia or Philippines or other parts of the world while you traveled?
There are so many. I'm trying to think now of some of the stories in Ethiopia because it's been a couple of years since I was there. And one of the girls, her name was Hoden, and because of her disability, she was kept at home for many years, hidden away. But she was given the opportunity to go to school. And she told me, her last words to me is, send your children with disabilities to school. Give them the opportunity of education. And the smile on her face, was wonderful. I will never forget that, how happy she was to say that now that she's included in school, she is so happy to have friends, to be able to leave home and now learn. She's learning as a first grader, even though she's been at home for many years.
Actually, provided the opportunity, then they can break all the barriers and be equally successful as you are.
So
On
true.
the personal front, you are happily married. Would you like to share us more about your personal life as well?
Well, I've now been married for 5 years.
Wow.
And Patrick, my husband, he actually did my hair today, if you like it.
It's
He
really
learned-
wonderful.
He is such a wonderful, supportive husband, and we are both Goodwill ambassadors for Handicap International, so
Okay.
we travel together. So I don't do this alone. He supports me, I support him, we work together as a team, and now we just continue to travel the globe and share this important message.
You met him in course of your professional work?
Yes, I met him through Taekwondo.
Wow.
He's a 4th degree black belt in Taekwondo, and at
Wow.
one point was my instructor.
Wow.
And now we are happily married of 5 years.
And you're working for the rights of the disability people as well.
We work together as a team, and to share that message also to women that they can get married even if they have a disability.
Okay, that's really great. And you have also worked in ratifying the CRPD, that is United Nations Convention on the Rights of People with Disabilities. You have been advocating it, asking the countries to ratify this CRPD. Would you like to share some more about this?
Well, Handicap International brought to my awareness the International Disability Treaty, the CRPD, which stands for the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. And now there have been 160 signatory countries around the world.
Including Nepal?
Including Nepal,
Yes.
yes. And it's wonderful to know that we're making progress around the world, and people are understanding the importance of giving opportunities, providing accommodations for people with disabilities.
Okay, we have come almost to the end of the show, Jessica. What message you want to leave to the people that have the disabilities, or give to the people they are born with the disabilities or have the disabilities?
For those who are born with a disability, believe that you can do anything. And for those who are in their community, those who are around them, their family, their friends, their educators, they need to support them and give them the opportunities, because they can do everything if they are given the support and the belief that they can accomplish it.
And never give up.
Never give up and be fearless.
And always think that you can do.
You can do it, yes.
Yes, actually, that made you where you are today.
If it wasn't for my support, I wouldn't be sitting here with you this wonderful afternoon, this morning.
Indeed, you are such a great source of inspiration, and we hope really, after looking at what you have achieved, the entire world draws the inspiration from you. And it was really having a good conversation with you. We really loved having you here at our studio. We thank you for joining us on our today's show.
Thank you for having me. This has been a privilege and part of a wonderful experience being in Nepal as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Dear viewers, that was In Conversation with Jessica Cox, the disability advocate who has broken all the barriers and achieved the immense success in her life. That was really inspirational talking to her, and we wish her all the best, and she goes on adding more feathers to her cap. That's all we have in today's show. Thank you for joining with us. Have a great time ahead, and namaste.